Hey, welcome to this session of Learn to Code Web Development. I'm your host, James Lawson, aka Maxscape. And what we're going to do is a slight review based on a question that I had from the previous training concerning Google Fonts. And what I'm showing here, page kind of looks like a mess, but I'll break it down for you. This portion here is showing a particular font, but there's no class, tag, or ID selection, and the whole document is set to Balu, whatever, Bahayan, by calling the body tag. I typed this a couple times, so it's by calling the body tag that is called out in the style sheet. And then the next one is a Ranga font, and it's selected by using the class method, and I show here how I did that. The P class equals Ranga font, and then the text that I have in there, and then closing the paragraph. And then the Slabo or Slabo font selected by using inline CSS. And I showed here how I did that. P style equals font family colon Slabo. And the text I put and closing the P tag. And if you notice, this font is the same as this font. That's because it's called in the body tag. So any changes that I'm not making either directly inline or using a class or using a particular tag or an ID is going to default back to whatever the body is set to. And then I'm showing here how to use Font Awesome in your projects. And then you're going to put the opening tag I, class equals FA for Font Awesome. And then in this case, I got this code from the Font Awesome website, and then sized it to 4 times. Now it's probably going to be bigger than 4 times based on the size of this font. Area hidden is true, and close the tag. And how I did that is Google Fonts. Yeah, here we go. I got the right document. I tried to kind of strip it down as much as possible. I have the doc type, the HTML open and closing tags, and then up top, here is where you're going to add your Font Awesome, and here's where you're going to add your Google Fonts. In this case, I'm showing 3 different fonts here. I pulled them off of Google Fonts, and the family is Balu plus Bahina, Ranga, Slabo, and in this case, Slabo plus 27 pics, and I'm linking to that href. The way that I changed, the way that I put it into the body is I called it out with the body tag, and then I put font family equals this, and the font size equals 35 pixels. And then I'm showing you here the Ranga font, if you remember, was being pulled from a class being here, set up in the style sheet as Ranga font family Ranga, cursive, whatever. I can call this class whatever I want. I can call it new font, call it whatever, doesn't matter. I just have to match it here to make it work. And that is really about it for that part. The Font Awesome, then we just come down here and I'm showing you here how you use the Font Awesome to get that. Now, as a review of that, I have the 2 links here for Google. Here's Google Fonts. The way that I got those fonts is I came in here and I just grabbed a couple. Here's that Balu Bahina one. I added that one. The Ranga font is here. I'm clicking the little plus to add that. And the Slabo is this one. So I'm adding it, and now it's telling me I have 3 families selected. When I click that, this is giving me the information that I need. So this was in the top, in the head section of the document, and then this is where I called out each one individually. So let's close that window, and then the Font Awesome, as a review from last week, you can come in here and look at the examples, and it'll show you how to set it up. Like in this case, they're using this little camera here. So that's going to be FA for Font Awesome. FA again, dash camera, dash retro. And to make it larger, in that case, I was using the FA-4. And then to get the icons, just click on the icon one. You need to see it bigger. And this will show you if you wanted to use this address card one, you would just select this and put it in place of this. And that'll be it for that. Back over to Bootstrap. One of the things that I did want to cover last week, and I just forgot to add it into the presentation, was some free templates. I found some free templates over at W3 Schools that will cover Bootstrap. And again, just like last time, what I'll do is I'll add this document that I'm using here. So, but there's some starter templates that I found over at W3 Schools. And when you click the button from that document, it'll take you right on over there. And then it's just showing you here, the band template, art template. You could just kind of scroll down here and see something that you might like to use. And let's just say if it's this one, the architect template. You can go to demo, that's what it's going to look like. See, when I hover over the buttons, or over the menu items, they change colors. If I click on it, it's going to, in this case, it's a single page, so it's going to just drop me to the project section. If I go to about, it's going to bring this about to the top. And contact, same thing. If I go to contact, it's going to bring me here. The other thing you can do, go to try it yourself. You can click up here to change how this is viewed. So right now the code for it is shown here, and then the actual website is shown here. So you can kind of scroll down and look and compare and see how these are built. If you don't like looking at it this way, click this vertically button there and it'll change it to vertically. So you could just start here and you can say, okay, now where is my menu? You can maybe search for particular words or whatever the case is, but I would look here for something that is related to nav. Here we go, nav bar. And then you'll see within the nav bar, architects here, projects here, about here, contact here. You can take this template or any of the templates that are here and copy it and paste it into your own work. Or if you're just messing with it and you just want to kind of get the feel for it, put it into your own text editor and just kind of play around with it. Let's see the images here, summer house images. See, this is going to W3 images house5.jpg. So if you did take it to your own computer and mess with it, you would have to put the full link here for this source. Otherwise, you'll get a box showing that it's missing. I know it would kind of be a little bit of a pain, but if you right click and then you can hit copy image address. Depending on your browser, it might be worded just a little bit different, and then paste that into your document. Let's see what happens here. If I put that, it's going to give me the full https://www.w3schools.com, W3 images, which is where this starts, W3 images house. So literally what you could do is you could pretty much do a find and replace and maybe just copy this first part here before the image, and then just say, or excuse me, find and replace. So say copy and replace. Find W3 images /W3 images and replace it with this. And that would be a quick way to go back down and do that, to replace all that. The other thing too is it's using this here, they're giving you the full link to the CSS, but you can get this link, put it in your address bar, and that's going to be all the CSS that makes that document work, makes that whole website work. So if you had any question, if you wanted to change like some of the padding or the whatever you want to do, how it's hovering, what your colors are, that sort of thing. What you could do is look here in the code. Let me back this up. Change it back to vertical. And you can look here where it says W3-display-container or W3-content. Do a search for the W3-content and then say, okay, what does W3 wide mean? What does W3 content mean? What are these doing? What are these classes doing for this particular document? And that's kind of the way to learn, is just to kind of pick things apart. That's why I put the file up last week and I'll put the file up this week. It's not like those are incredibly complicated to figure out, but it'd be a good starting point for you. The last thing that I want to talk about, is how to run a local server. Now, what is a local server? You have your client computer or your local computer, which is what you use when you get on the internet or you're doing Word documents or doing whatever you're doing. And then you have your server, which is out there on the internet. So you're communicating as a client to the server, and the server is serving you up these documents. But you can also have a local server, which is going to simulate or emulate that you're on the web. But what this is going to do is set up this Apache and MariaDB plus PHP plus Perl. We're not going to get into Perl. Personally, I don't do Perl. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just don't mess with Perl. It's just a different coding language that you can use. But as it says here, XAMPP. You'll hear it called a couple of different ways, but I call it XAMPP. It's the most popular PHP development environment. There are other ones. One I can think of right off the top of my head is called MAMP. I think it's MAMP. But it's also a PHP development environment, and it's completely free, easy to install an Apache distribution containing the MariaDB, which operates very similarly to MySQL. Then the XAMPP open source package that's set up to be incredibly easy to install and to use. I'm going to play this little video.
XAMPP is the most popular PHP development environment for Windows, OS X, and Linux platforms. It is a completely free and easy to install Apache distribution containing MySQL, PHP, and Perl. This video shows how to install XAMPP on Windows. On the first page, you can select the components that you want to install. Then select the installation directory. All the components that you choose will be installed in the directory. XAMPP also allows you to install PHP-based applications easily. Bitnami modules provide the easiest way to install WordPress, Drupal, or Joomla, among others, on top of your XAMPP installation. You can find more info at the ApacheFriends.org website. The XAMPP open source package has been set up to be incredibly easy to install and to use. After the installation, you will see the control panel. XAMPP Control Panel allows you to configure your servers or open a command prompt for running commands. It is also possible to start the servers automatically. From the Configuration button, you can modify the main configuration files for Apache, PHP, or MySQL. By starting the Apache server, you can access the XAMPP administration web page from your browser. You can also manage your databases from your browser easily thanks to the PHP MyAdmin application. To download and find more information about XAMPP, visit ApacheFriends.org.
And that's it. All you would do if you're on Windows, you would click this button here, follow the prompts. If you're using Linux, if you're using a Mac, just click the appropriate button and go ahead and download and run the setup as it said. And when it says it's easy in the video, it is. I mean, it bothers me sometimes when people go, just simply do this or just simply do that. It is that simple. And what is the purpose of this? Well, it's this. I'm showing a document here that's actually a PHP file. And I know that by this extension, .php, across here at the top. What that looks like, and I just did a very basic stripped down model. I didn't add any of the HTML headers or footers or the body or any of that. The only thing that I added was a little bit of styling to make the font look a little bit bigger. And all I want to show you here is when you're ready to use PHP, you should have your opening PHP tag, which is going to be just like any tag opens. And then in this case, question mark PHP. And when you want to close PHP and go back to like normal HTML or whatever, you're going to use question mark and then the close or greater than symbol. So here, down here, I have PHP to open my PHP to tell the web browser, hey, we're coming out of HTML junk here, and now we're coming into PHP. If I were to type in something like HTML and just say hello, that would actually fail. It would cause an error. You have to put what's called an echo statement, and that's echo quote. It can be a single or double quote. There is a difference. I mean, there's the obvious difference between a single versus a double quote, but how PHP sees it is different. If you have a double quote and you try to put something inside that you need to put other double quotes, then what you're going to do is put a backslash. It's called an escape that, so it'll show up. So let me go back to, and we'll take a look at this one here where I say this is another. In order to get that quote to show up, I had to put the backslash behind each one. The reason for that is, consider it like opening, closing. So if I had a quote, you see what it does here, it changes that. So if I had a quote and then another quote, this is open, close, and then it's opening and closing, and PHP really doesn't know what to do with this. So in order to get the double quote, I have to have the backslash to escape it, or if I'm satisfied with a single quote, I can just put single quotes because I have double quote here, and then whatever's in between is going to show up. Of course, your tags don't show up in the browser, but it's going to treat this in between these quotes. What you're seeing right here is going to treat it just like if it was HTML. But that's how you need to get it to display on your screen. One of the reasons that I introduced this to you is I would like for you to go ahead and install XAMPP, whatever you want to call it. Go to ApacheFriends.org, download the software, and go ahead and start it, because we're going to be touching more and more and more on PHP as time goes on. What's a better time to start than now? One of the other things with PHP is you can have what's called a variable. A variable will start like this. It could be like, this is a variable equals, let's say, another. I can use single or double quotes, and I need to close it. If you haven't noticed, each one of these lines has to end with a semicolon. So this is a variable. And now what I'm going to show you here is if I put that variable here, and if I put that variable here. Let's see what happens. Save it. And the way I'm going to run it, in this case I haven't uploaded, but the way I'm going to run it on my local machine is going to be localhost slash, and I have this in my Maxscape /training directory, PHP test. I rebooted, so guess what? It shut my server down. what I'm going to do is open my control panel, and I just have the minimized version. I'm going to click Start Apache, and I'm going to click MySQL, Start MySQL. Apache's now started. MySQL sometimes takes a little bit longer, and that's now started. So I got 2 green lights. Now when I reload this page, there we go. Now if you notice, back over here, I have the word "this is a variable" equals another. Wherever I put that variable, it's going to show there. So let me go back here. So both of these should say this is another PHP test. This is another PHP test, because I have it in there twice. One with single quotes, one with double quotes. So just to take that a little bit further, let's say if I would call a variable name equals, and let's put me. And I want to put here, this is a PHP test by, I could either put my name or I could just put the variable. And if I want to see my name in more than one spot, by me. So what I did here is I made another variable. I just called it name, put my name here, and then just added the variable to each line. So it's going to pick up this variable here, and it's going to pick up this variable here, here, and here. So when I save that and I refresh it, you can see this stayed the same, but then it got added to each one of these. Now there's a whole lot more to PHP, and I will be more than happy to continue. I love PHP. Love it. We will be getting more and more advanced as time goes on, probably throwing in some more bootstrap and some CSS and some JavaScript and some PHP, just enough to make you dangerous.